All jokes aside, you know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life, this and that for life. I'm on this for life, nigga, this is blood oath. Hey, yo, Madara, here go a class for you, my nigga. 140 for the rebel. The world turned its back on me. I'm a cripple. We got soldiers, he got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out, I'll tell you once. Don't pray for nothing, sin and curse. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Remain in them trenches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. If rank is given, have your respect to your apprentice. Be about your business. This loyalty's a death sentence. Look, trying to pick up with a blind field. They said there'll be many mansions. I'm just grinding for my time share. Them devils ain't playing fair. They hunt you like bad pal. But ain't no getting out the game like you Jumanji. You take that oath, it's a Dundee. They try to deal death to a priest. You won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times, then it's death do us part. No. So how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people go disown. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing, ain't no more questions. Make sure my election till I'm tucked away like George Jetson. Murder for capital, now it's murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement, we like fucking raise it. I pity those watching life as it goes by. Be giving mercy in this life, I don't know why. In pump smoke, never try to. The dead at home, my brother be the dead, it's all I don't. Either fold or salute, my nigga. Salute, my nigga. They like, how you stay focused? I told them I'm motivated cause of you, my nigga. Brotherhoods and weapons, still got weapons on the scene. Now I never do my niggas like Bishop did Raheem. Never mind in all beliefs, they under anesthesia. Shorty say she leave me, said she wanna let that love go. Told I let that love grow. But if I bring you to my bed, that's a blood oath. So, how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people go disown. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Yeah.
Fuck wrong with you, boy? You know what time it is, nigga. Better watch how you step in. Yeah. But that was my niggas. Yeah. I'm in a yo. Got my nigga Rawan with me. But that was my niggas, it'll be an honor. You know what I'm saying? Under commanding general, your honor. Straight off the top, I love all of my niggas. That shit ain't gon' stop till we on top and we ballin', my nigga. We be fly as fuck, you know them bitches be stalking my niggas. That shit'll never change and it's the same with all my niggas. City to city, I should be at home. That's what my ribs say. But bitch, I'm grown on many streets and closed caption. Niggas know we bout that action. If a nigga play with me, then my Hakim gon' let him have it. Hey, thank you the shit, this truth the shit. Nigga play, I let that Ruger hit. Get on them tracks, they be like, who is this? I'm rude with it. Ain't got no manners, all them pussy niggas talking shit. Y'all know they can't stand us, but we UPK, Louisiana, bitch, that's what I'm ripping. And my niggas solid number, real ones in my section. If you wanna get down, put your boots on, start stepping. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood. I lay my life down right now for all my sisters and brothers, because I love them, I see them dapping and hug them. It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of sin, trapped in the gutter. My mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Run with them killers, so it's just a matter of time. For why take your life or let you take mine? That's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man live to get old. We in them graves, and shit got me feeling played. I opened the Bible, went through them records, found out we was royalty, a nation to be respected. But in this world we rejected, we hated for our complexion. Still fighting to get accepted. We hear the truth and reject it, but love is getting corrected. And all my niggas correct me. The commandments, the foundation we erected. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Hey, hey.
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So that you said that they put millions of my yes, you said,
Should a murderer go to jail for murdering?
Absolutely.
Should a thief go to jail when he steals?
Absolutely.
Should a robber pay back the money he robbed?
Absolutely.
So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did?
That's right.
Hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey.
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So that you said that they put millions of my yes, you said,
Should a murderer go to jail for murdering?
Absolutely.
Should a thief go to jail when he steals?
Absolutely.
Should a robber pay back the money he robbed?
Absolutely.
So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did?
That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just also go stand in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe the slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting. The trail of my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles will make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be. Slavery for me. And let the whole world see the rhythm in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash. Get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
Someday you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Look, ain't With no remorse in my blood slim, it won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I back gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit a Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they make an oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. That was designed fire for our babies to pass through in the day of our king's reign. I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
Someday you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Yeah, you know what it is. 140 for the rebel, busy man shit, nigga. They take their head off, nigga.
Right where Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like Samson, I can't let no hoe lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Nigga think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Circle up and stay alert, another cop can stretch the nigga. He a demon, this an exorcism, watch I bless the nigga. You took that open blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. From the opposition, I see vision, let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spin, I ain't listening, is effective. If revenge was a woman, now I scope that bitch like Jacob. So time war, we gon' run the summer, it's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do that, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young black. How you real triggering on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? What he saying something, I ain't hear. This shit like it ain't all who got this gun, it's all who gon' up that pipe first. I turn a bad situation to a game change. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raise up the chain. Free shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never fight the hand and speech, or you'll never get that hand back. He bitchin' about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. A certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, out with that hollow sign, yeah, this the real McCoy. Feel like Gullah Jake when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my bread, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get that boy lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Shalom, shalom. We're back here on another Friday night at ISUPK headquarters for the Lashawan Qadash Hebrew class. We are here in the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohanan. Started out of 1 West 125th Street right here in Harlem. And we have been bringing out this truth to our people since 1969 that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are the chosen people of God. You are the true Israelites of the Bible. And history proves that, the Bible proves it, and an important part of once you know that, an important part of knowing that you're an Israelite is taking back your ancient culture, your glorious culture that the Most High gave us, that's been taken from us, bastardized, and everything else. And so every Friday we get here and we take back our language. And this week, we're going to dive right back in. We've been diving into this Hebrew. Everybody that's out there, if you're caught up to the alphabet, if you know your alphabet, if you know a little bit of Hebrew, beautiful. If you don't, no sweat. Get caught up. Get a Hebrew sheet. Let us know if you need one. Practice your alphabet. Say it out loud, both of them, the ancient and the Assyrian. That Assyrian is important because we can crack open the Torah and the Tanakh to this day and see our scriptures preserved in that Assyrian. But the ancient, of course, is ours. That's our language. That's our script. And so you got to know both. If you're not caught up, get caught up. It's not as intimidating as it seems. You know, at first it may look crazy, but once you just get into it and give it a little practice and write it over and over, say the sounds out loud, you know, practice putting some words together and things of that nature, it'll be second nature before you know it. And you'll join us as we dive in deep. And so lately we've been bouncing around a little bit, but we always try and keep this connection between the Friday night Hebrew class and the Sabbath service on Saturday morning. And every Saturday morning at the Sabbath service, we say Psalms 83 as a prayer. That is a prayer that's been preserved in these scriptures, in the Psalms, and it's a very important prayer. But there's a lot of things going on. It's a long prayer, and there's a lot going on that not everybody understands when we say it every week. So we're going to get down into it. We're going to break this Hebrew down, and this is absolutely essential. So over the past few weeks, we've gone over the names of the books of the Bible in Hebrew. And Psalms, we know, is the Halim, which means praises in the Hebrew. And I'm going to make sure to write everything in both. In both the Assyrian and the ancient script. Thahayalim, which means praises. And so, we're going to dive right in and start breaking this down from the Hebrew and see what we can recognize and what we're going to learn. And when we start this prayer, we start first, there's a preface here at the beginning of the verse, at the beginning of verse 1, which is Shayar Mazamawar La'asap. Everybody that's watching should be following along with an interlinear app or an interlinear website where you can see the Hebrew and you can put it alongside your English King James translation and you can follow along and copy along as we go. So it starts out, Shayar Mazamawar La'asap, which is, Shayar is song, and Mazamawar is translated here as song, but it's, you know, it's like a melody. It's connected to this word Shayar for song. So Shayar Mazamawar La'asap, which is, this is Asaph, which is, you know, a member of King David's court. And then it goes right into what we say for the prayers. Alahayim, which we should all know by now, is the powers. Alahayim, we know that the yum at the end of a word is pluralizes something in the Hebrew. So Alahayim is powers. Al Damayalika. And we're going to go back over these every time. We're going to go back over these and break them down. Don't worry. We're not just going to fly, breeze through these. Al-Thakarash. If you've been in the Sabbath service a lot, this should almost just be flowing into your head as we go through it. Wa'al Tashakwat. So this right here, this is all verse 1. And so we already broke down at the top here. This is a song, which this word really means melody, because we don't want to get confused, because we have up here the Yolium, which is the name of the book of Psalms of Asaph. Alahayim, which we know is powers. Al-Damayalika, which is, remember we talked a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, about how sometimes we're used to very commonly using la'ah to negate things, but sometimes al is the negation. And what it's usually talking about is it's a more imperative thing. You're saying that this is not going to happen. And so this is a plea here, a plea to the Most High to not be silent, to not hold his peace. So that's why it's al right there instead of la'ah. And so this damia, of course, this is silence. And so this is the negation. The ka is essentially two, but we're going to connect this all once we get through it. Al-Thakarash. Thakarash. Karash is the root word here, and that word is to hold your peace. Of course, we use that phrase sometimes in English. It's not the most commonly used phrase, but when you tell somebody to hold their peace, you're telling them to be solid, to wait a minute, to hold their peace, to keep whatever they're saying. And so this is a plea to the Most High to not be silent, to not hold his peace. Well, all and not. We know that wa means and do not. Dashakwat. So this is, of course, your silence. These are all variations on silence. Damia, Karash, Shakwat. These are all variations on silence. It's repetition, but using different words to give you different, like, you don't want to use the same word over and over. Just like we have many different words in the English language to express a concept. And this last "I'll" here at the end, this is power. We're going to try and get 2 verses on, and then we'll come back and go over this again. Kayahana. Awiyabuka. Yeah, how many you want? And so we're going to go back and break this all down again. Don't worry. But right here, this kaya is for. This is a common word that we've been seeing a lot lately. This is for in the sense of because. For, because. Hana, which is behold. If you've ever seen Officer Hazahab break down the ancient script, which is a pictographical script, and every letter, every character stands for something, this ha is behold, hana. So remember, we gotta be able to break these words down, and every time we see a word that's new or unfamiliar, we know how to break down and find the root word. If we can identify the root words in these new unfamiliar words, we can start to break everything down, because we know that we'll see a character at the end of a word that may represent a possessive, a character at the beginning of the word that may represent a preposition like this wa, which is and in the middle, if we can take out, sometimes we'll have a character that changes the tense of the word, changes it into something active, and if we can strip all that down and identify the root word, we can start to use context to identify some of these. And so here, for example, this is your enemies. Ayab is the root word, which means enemy. Enemy is Ayab, is enemy. So this Awayab, that wa, is the thing that changes the tense, that makes it something active. This is a verb. This is your enemy. This is your current active enemy. And the ka at the end is the your. So Awayab Yaka, your enemies. So far we have for behold, Kayahana, for behold, Kayahana Awayabika, for behold your enemies. Now here's another long word that we may not be familiar with. Yahama your one. Yahama your one. And let's see what we can strip out. The root word here is Hama. Hama is the word for tumult. We're going to come right back to that. And we're going to break this down by phrase. So we're going to leave this piece here. For behold, thine enemies make a tumult. Wa mashana'ayaka. Nasha'awa Ra'ash. And we've been seeing a lot of new words in this chapter that we haven't been using in the Hebrew classes lately or in the Sabbath service lately. But this is one that we have been using. This Ra'ash, again, back to the basics, to the pictograph of our ancient script, where Ra represents a head. This is Ra'ash. This character represents a head on a man. That is Ra'ash. This is Ra'ash right here. That's the word for head. And so Shana is hate. This right here is hate. This Shana. That is the root word here that we can isolate. So Wamashanayaka, now again, there's a lot of things that we're going to talk about in terms of possessives. We see that ka appearing a lot at the end of the words. That's telling us you. Your enemies, they that hate thee. That's the possessive for you. There are other complexities in here. Of course, this while we know is and. So we're gonna look to identify the things that we do know. Things like the prepositions at the beginning of the word, the possessives at the end, and we're gonna see if we can find the root word. And those that hate you. Wamashanayaka. And they that hate thee. Nasha'awa, Nasha'a is to lift up. So they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Wamashanayaka, Nasha'awa Ra'ash. They that hate thee have lifted up the head. So let's run this down again from the start. We know Shayar, Muslim of War, La'asap, the song Shayar, Muslim of War, a psalm or melody. La'asap of Asaph. Alahayim, the powers, Alahayim, Al, which negates words in an imperative sense, negates words where you're talking about what shall not happen, or you're asking for something not to happen. Al Damiyah, which is silence. Damiyah is silence. Al Damiyalika, to you. Al Thacharash, which is hold your peace. Karash is hold your peace. Wa'al, and do not. Dashakwat, again, shakwat is silence. These are three different variations on words for silence. Damya is silence. Karash is hold your peace, which is be silent. And shakwat is silence. And in verse 2, Kayahana, for behold. These are two common words we're going to see a lot. For in the sense of because, which is kaya, hana is behold. Kaya hana. Kaya hana awiyabuka. Your, that ka at the end of the word, that possessive right there at the end of the word, that ka, awiyabuka. Your enemies. Kaya hana awiyabuka. Yaham one. Cause a tumult. Wabashana'ayuka, and those that hate Shana, you, that ka at the end of the word again, wa ma Shana'ayuka. Nasha'awa have lifted Ra'ash, which is the head, which we talked about. That character in the ancient for the Ra. Ra'ash is the head. So, Wamashinayika, Nasha'awa Ra'ash. They that hate ye have lifted up the head. And that's the first two verses. Leave it up there for a second. Anybody watching and following along should be copying these from your own interlinear app or your own interlinear website. Should be copying this down. Should be writing this right along with me. Write these English words underneath. Write out the root words like we've isolated here. Ayab for enemy. Shana for hate. Nashah was for lifted. Hama for tumult. Shaquat for silence. We've isolated all these root words. And when we do that, we learn how to break down, how to identify, or even how to fill in the context of an unfamiliar word in the Hebrew. And so we got this going so far with the first two verses, and now we're going to keep this going.
Supposed to get snow tonight, huh?
Yeah, I heard.
I see the truck with the soap in the front.
It's already. I doubted it the other day when I heard. I was like, "Oh no, it's not going to be nothing." Man. All right, here we are in verse 3. And I doubt we're going to get through this whole thing tonight, but this could be a 2 or 3 part series. We're going to get through all of this, and I can't wait because there's so much history behind it when you dive into all these different references and all these different nations that are mentioned and places that are mentioned. Like, this is a prayer with a lot of meaning, and we're going to examine all that meaning in this series. So, verse 3. So this starts out with these two basic words, ISUPK. This "il" is a common word that we'll see a lot that means, it can mean various different things. Upon, over, against. And so in this case, it means against, because everything that's going on in this chapter, in this prayer, is talking about things that were done or conspired against the children of Israel. And so this verse in the English starts off, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And in the Hebrew, it starts off, against thy people. ISUPK. Il is against. ISUPK remember that this ka we keep seeing at the end of words, which is thy, your. This is the possessive that signifies whose the thing is. And I'm is people. People as in a group of people, a nation, a group of people. ISUPK, against thy people. Ya'ira Yumwa, Sawad. This, another long word that we don't recognize. So, what can we take out of here? This wa at the end is the possessive for they. We've been seeing this a lot, and we'll see it a lot more. Ya'ira Yumwa. They have taken the root word here is iram, which is to be shrewd or crafty. So we're getting a whole vocabulary out of this chapter. Iram is to be crafty or shrewd. And Sawad is the word for counsel. So ISUPK, Ya'ira Yumwa Sawad, against thy people, they have taken crafty counsel. This is probably the longest word in this verse. Every time I say it, why yadaya tazawa, and it all comes and coalesces around this root word, ya'itaza, which is this is consult. So now we got Sawad, which is counsel in the sense of taking counsel. Ya'itaza is consult, because this is going to say they have consulted against thy hidden ones. We just said this is against, right? Is against. So this, remember, let's get everything out of this. We know that wa is and. We know this wa at the end is they. So they have consulted together against, and this is going to be one word. Tazapa one yaka, which is all around the word tazapun, which is to hide or shelter. Tazapa one yaka, because this is saying thy hidden ones. That ka at the end again being your. Tazapun is hidden. And they consulted against your hidden ones. And so that's verse 3. ISUPK, Ya'ira Yumwa Sawad, against thy people, they have taken crafty counsel. Sawad, Wayafaya and they consulted Al Tazapawanyaka against Tazapun, hidden ka your Tazapawanyaka. Al Anka ya Iriyoma Sawad, Wayafaya Tazawa, Al Tazapawanyaka. Against your people, they have taken crafty counsel, so why? And they have consulted Ya'itazah, Al Tazapawanyaka, against your Tazapun, your hidden ones. And so that's verse 3. We're building, I hope somebody's taking a list because we're building a whole vocabulary out of this chapter. Verse 4 starts out a marvel. We've talked a lot lately about this word because there are a few words that are so common. You have to know these right out the gate. And so many verses will have a mar in them, especially at the beginning, because this is the word for say or said. And so amar what? We talked about that wa at the end is they have said. Lakawa, which is come, which is based off alak, which is a very, very common word, which is to go, to come, to walk, halak. So lakawa wanakakiro. Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakiro, Magoya. Now, again, let's break these big words down. We know this why at the beginning is what? And. Kakad is going to be the root word here. You see it right here in the middle. Kakad, which is to conceal or cut off. To cut off. Kakad. So wanakak yadum and cut them off. Magoya. This is another common word that we've seen a lot. Goya, of course, is the word for nations. Some people seem to think it's a slur. It's just a word for nations. The thing is, if you're not of the nation of Israel, you just are a slur. The Lord does not care about you, but the word in itself just means nations. Magoya, that ma at the beginning of the word, that's a preposition which means of. And so it's cut them off of in the sense of from. We want to make that distinction. So cut them off from being a nation. There's a lot going on. I hope anybody watching is keeping up. But we're diving in because this is how we make progress, by being uncomfortable. By diving in head first. Wala yazakar. Wala'a yazakar. These are two very common words. Of course, the wa is and. The la'a negates a word. Yazakar. Zakar is the word for remember. And so this is the phrase that's saying that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So if we know that this is how that phrase starts out, the rest you should almost be able to fill in. Wala'a yazakar sham, which of course is name Yashar Allah. Iwad, which is no more. Iwad is further, furthermore, more. So it's that not remembered name Israel anymore. Wala'a yazakar sham yasha'ala iwad. That not remembered name Israel anymore. That's simple. And there's verse 3 and 4. Keep moving. If you didn't get all that, that's why you got a pause button. I have full faith in everybody out there. Next time we say these prayers, we're going to know what we're saying. Verse 5 is short and to the point. Kaya. We already said this is very common. This is for, because. Kaya. Now, lab yachadwa. This is for, they're consulted together with one consent. That's all in this line right here. Kaya na wa'ai lab yachadwa. Kaya is for because. Lab is another very common word we should know by now. This is the word for heart. So when it says they consulted together with one consent, it's saying that they were of one heart, meaning they were of one mind. They were all on the same page. Kaya. Now, I tazwa lab yakadwa. And if you've been paying attention to the numbers, you know that achad is the number for one. So this is just a different form of that. This word right here, yakadwa. So now what do we have left that we have not identified? This word here. We know what? We know that wa at the end is they. So then we know that we can identify the root word. Ya'itazah. Ya'itazah, which is to counsel. We saw this a couple of verses back. Ya'itazah is to counsel. Now what Itazawah is, they have consulted together. Kayan now what Itazawah la yakadna. Because your heart is your mind, which is your consent. Kaya, now I tazawah la yakadna. For they have consulted together with one heart or one consent. Aliyaka bar yath yakarathwa. Now what does that mean? So what's left? They are confederate against you. We talked about al being against. Aliyaka, that ka, against you. Aliyaka, against you. Baryath is a covenant. This is the word for covenant. So that word, when it says they are confederate against you, they have made a covenant against the Most High, is what this is saying. Again, if we strip out the root word, which is karath here, which is in this case, this is the word for form. Yakarath wa. They have formed. Aliyaka against you. Baryath, covenant. Yakarathwa. They have formed. Aliyaka baryath yakarathwa. They are confederate against thee. Again, verse 5 is straight to the point. Kaya, now Itazawah la yakadwa. For they have consulted, Ya'itazah, now Itazawah, they have consulted, la yakadwa, with one heart, one consent. La is your heart, la yakadwa. Aliyaka against you, Baryath, Yakarathwa. They have made a covenant against you. Aliyaka, Baryath. They have made a covenant. Yakarathwa. They have formed it. All right, now we're going to start getting deep into it. Verse 6. Matter of fact, because we are on the clock, we might jump around a little bit and come back to some things next week and talk more about it. Now I want to lay some groundwork right here. So in English, this is going to start running through various nations. In verse 6, it says, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. And that's running down a whole list of enemies of the children of Israel and therefore enemies of the Most High. And these are various nations that throughout history have come up against us. have made alliances against us, have tried to destroy us, but they were never allowed to because the Most High was always with us. Even in our going off, the Most High always had mercy on us. But we're gonna slide down and pick this back up at verse 9. And don't worry, we'll come back to those others. But right now, I want to lay some foundations on verse 9. In verse 9, getting ahead of myself. Verse 9, Aisha, which is to do. So when the scripture says, do unto them, Aisha, do. Laham, to them. Kamadian, This ka is a preposition meaning like. So this prayer is do unto them as or like as unto Madian, the Midianites. And what we're going to go into when we have the time is that these next several verses, going down from verse 9 to about verse 15 or 16, basically taking us all the way through the end of this prayer, because the prayer is to do unto our enemies like unto these people that's about to list. This is a story that's in Judges, the 4th chapter through the 8th chapter. And we're going to examine this story because it's a beautiful story of the Most High delivering our enemies into our hand. But if you go to Judges, the 4th chapter, and you start at the first verse or the second verse, it says, the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Harosheth of the Gentiles. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, for he had 900 chariots of iron. In 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Israel. So this Jabin that we're about to hear about, this was a Canaanite king that mightily oppressed the children of Israel for 20 years. And we were crying out to the Lord to be saved from this dude Jabin. And it's going to happen when we get down to it. In verse 7, it says, and I will draw unto thee to the river Kishon, which is in Psalms, it's the brook of Kishon. Unto the river Kishon, Sisera, the captain of Jabin's army. So this King Jabin had a captain named Sisera, with his chariots and his multitude, and I will deliver him into thine hand. And they set up a whole elaborate thing to draw them out and to capture them and to take them out. Because every enemy we've ever had, the Lord has been merciful enough to eventually take them out. And that's what we're waiting for in this kingdom, for the Lord to take these devils out. And so let's keep going in verse 9 for a second. Aishalahum Kamadian, do unto them like unto the Midianites. Aishalahum Kamadian. Ka Sayasara, As, remember that ka is like or as to Sisera. Kayabim, that ka again is like or as. Yabin, as to Jabin. Ba Nakal. That ba, we know, is in. So this is in the brook. Nakal is the brook. This word can mean river. You know, you got to know the geography and understand the context to know whether it's a brook, a river, what have you. But this is a flowing body of water, Nakal. Lashawan. Lashawan is Kisan. So, Aishalaham Kamadyan, which is do unto them, Aisha do laham, do unto them, Kamadyan, like ka, Madyan, unto the like as you did to the Midianites. Ka Sayasara, like ka, Sayasara to Sisera, ka, like, Yabin, like as you did to Jabin, Banachal, and the brook, Lashawan of Kisan. So something happened to these Midianites and to Sisera and to Jabin at the brook of Kisan that was remembered hundreds of years later, to the point that this prayer was sent up to the Most High, asking the Lord to do unto any of our enemies exactly what you did to these Midianites, to Sisera, to Jabin at the brook of Kisan. This was a major event in the history of the Israelites that was remembered and prayed for a repeat of it. And every time that the Lord has delivered us and destroyed our enemies, we pray for a repeat of that exact thing. Every time we walk out there and see these devils, you should pray for a repeat of the things that you read about in these scriptures.
Yeah, right.
And that's what's going on in Psalms 83. That's why we say this prayer every Sabbath. That's why we say this prayer constantly, because we're constantly begging the Most High to run this back, to do this against our enemies. So let's take another look at what was going on in Judges. In verse, all right, so now we're up to where Deborah is in the picture. And in verse 6, she sent and called Barak, the son of Abinowab, out of Qadash Naphtali, and said unto him, hath not the Lord God of Israel commanded, saying, go and draw toward Mount Tabor, and take with thee 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali and of the children of Zebulun, and I will draw unto thee to the river Kishon, to Banachal, Lashawan, to the brook of Kisan. The captain of Jabin's army, Yabin right here, and the captain of his army was Sayasara, with his chariots and his multitude, and I will deliver him into thine hand. And Barak said unto her, her being Deborah, if thou wilt go with me, then I will go. But if thou wilt not go with me, then I will not go. And she said, I will surely go with thee, notwithstanding the journey that thou takest shall not be for thine honor. For the Lord shall sell Sayasara, Sisera, into the hand of a woman. And Deborah arose and went with Barak to Qadash. And they called up, you know, the verses continue. They called up together the tribes. They got everyone together. And they went up. And in verse 13, Sisera, this cat right here, Sisera, gathered together all his chariots, even 900 chariots of iron, and all the people that were with him, from Harosheth of the Gentiles unto Banakal Lashawan, unto the river of Kishon. And Deborah said unto Barak, Up, for this is the day in which the Lord hath delivered Sisera into thine hand. Is not the Lord gone out before thee? And so they went down. We're going to skip down a little. They went down. In verse 16, Barak pursued after the chariots and after the host unto Harosheth of the Gentiles, and all the host of Sisera fell upon the edge of the sword, and there was not a man left. So for all these armies, thousands of people that he brought with him, there was not a man left. Because that's what happens when you come up on the children of Israel and the Most High is with the children of Israel. Not a single one of your men is going to be left. And then, when you slide down further, there was a woman named Jael. And in verse 17, it says, Howbeit Sisera fled away on his feet to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. For there was peace between Jabin, the king of Hazor, and the house of Heber the Kenite. And Jael went out to meet Sisera, Sayasarah, and said unto him, Turn in, my lord, turn into me, fear not. And when he had turned in unto her in the tent, she covered him with a mantle. And so she lured this guy in. She knew what she was doing. She lured Sisera into the tent. And verse 19, and he said unto her, Give me, I pray thee, a little water to drink, for I'm thirsty. And she opened a bottle of milk and gave him drink and covered him. So, of course, back in the day, milk, was a more valuable thing than water. So it's like she's taking care of him. She's luring him in. Verse 20, he said unto her, Stand in the door of the tent. And it shall be when any man doth come and inquire of thee and say, Is there any man here? That thou shalt say, No. Verse 21, Then Jael, Heber's wife, took a nail of the tent and took a hammer in her hand and went softly unto him and smote the nail into his temples and fastened it into the ground. This is not a nail like a little nail that you hang a picture on, right? This is a nail like this. And she came when he was asleep and took this nail and took a sledgehammer and put it straight through his head into the ground. Because that's what happens when you're against the children of the Most High. You get a nail straight through your head from one side to the other. And the verse continues, For he was fast asleep and weary, so he died. Because he came in, he was lured in by this woman, he got too comfortable, and he knocked out, and she knocked him out. And that was that for Sisera. And that's why we pray that any of our enemies get done just like Sisera. And so when we skip down a little bit more, then we find out what happens. Salakia. And we're going to find out that they felt great affinity towards the brook of Kishon because of what happened down by it. Our ancestors of this time loved the brook of Kishon because they loved what happened down by it. We celebrated the death of our enemies. We celebrated our enemies getting nailed straight through their head after all of their men was wiped out. And that's what we're supposed to do. And don't ever forget that. Because all they want you to do out here is keep forgiving these devils and keep having all types of, try to understand or try to get up past it. No. We celebrate what's going to happen to our enemies when Christ comes back. And that's what's going on right here. But they even made it, if you keep going through verse 5, they basically made it like into a song where she put the nail through his head. And so now that's what we got for verse 9. I shalom, do unto them, Kamadian, like Madian, like unto the Midianites. I shalom Kamadian, do unto them like what you did to the Midianites. Kaseyasarah, at like as you did to Sisera, like you put that nail through Sisera's head. Kayabin, like unto Jabin, because Jabin got took out before he even got to that point. Banakal Quayashwan, in the brook Nakal Quayashwan of Kisan. And that's verse 9, and that's a beautiful thing. So we're going to take this off real quick and keep it running. Verse 10. And that's why it's so important to look into all these things and understand the background and the history, because the history is so deep and so rich and so beautiful and so glorious. And we got to absorb all of these things. All right. Nashimadwa. All right. So what we have here is Nashamadwa. Again, we want to, if we see unfamiliar words, we want to break it down, identify the root word, identify whatever we can to get out of this. Let me pull this back up in English real quick. So this verse in the English is, which perished at Endor, they became as dung for the earth. So, shamad is to perish. This word right here, shamad. And so that is the root word, the core here, perish. Ba'ayun is at, the R is Endor. The Hayah is based on this word, Hayah, which is the word, the verb for to be. This is one of the most basic words in the language. This is to be, Hayah. So this Hayah is they became. So now what do you think Daman means? This is dung. This Daman right here, this is what all of our enemies became when they decided to try the wrong ones. When they came up against the children of the Most High, the people who the Most High loves. They ended up as dung for the earth. La, we know that preposition means to, and Adamah is the ground or the land. So earth, meaning earth, like when you pick up a handful of earth. They became as dung because what do you use dung for? Use it for fertilizer for the soil. And that's what the Lord is saying. They're comparing these people. They became fertilizer for the soil. Because you know what? That's the cycle of life. Everything biodegrades, right? And becomes as dung for the earth. This is what happens to you if you're of the wrong nation. That's what you're good for. You came up and tried the wrong ones. This is what you're good for being dung for the earth. You should have minded your own business. But these guys, Jabin and Sisera, they wanted to mess with and oppress our people, which everybody tries it. Everybody tries it. Everybody tries to oppress our people. It's all through the scriptures. It's all through history. It's in your face today. But this is the beauty of this prayer. Because after they try it, they might get it for a little bit. But they're going to end up as dung for the earth. Haywa Daman La'adamah. Again, Nashamadwa, Shamad is perish. Nashamadwa by Yunda R. Perish at Endor. Haywa Daman La'adamah. Became as dung for the earth. And so we're going to keep going to verse 11. All right, so we're going to start off with these first three words. Shayathumwa comes from this root word, this word right here, shayath. And that word shayath it's a very specific type of make. It's make like prepare, like you're doing something specific. You're taking them. And remember, this whole prayer is asking for something very specific to be done to all these people. So shayath, shayathumwa, make there. That wow, remember, make there. Now what do we think? Nada yabmawa. Nada yab is nobles. Nadiyab is nobles. It can also be translated as princes. This is nobility. This is make they're the highest people in their nation. Because remember, so far we've been talking about kings, their top captains. We're talking about, we're not just knocking off some guys on the front line. They're taking out everyone. Shayathumwa, make there not the Yabua, they're nobles. They're not the Yab. Ka'ira, like as. Remember that Ka is like or as, and Irab is Oreb. Wa, Ka, Za'ah. And, remember that Wa is and. That Ka is like. Za'ab is Ze'eb. Za'ab. Wa, Ka, Za'ab. And like Ze'eb. So make their nobles like Oreb and like Ze'eb. Wa, Ka, Zabah. Wa, Ka, Zabah. Yea, as Zabak. So this is that Wa, which is and again. That Ka, which is like. Zabak. Wa, Ka, Tazalmana. Wa, Ka, Tazalmana. Now, what do we know that we've been seeing over and over? We can take this Wa is and, right? This Ka is like. Tazalmanai. This is the name of Zalmunna. Kal Nasaya Kumwa. This call right here is another common word. Even though it's the first time we've seen it in this verse, this is all. Nasaya Kumwa. Where do we see something like this? This Nadiyab. This is Nasayab. It's like it. Nasayak. Nasayak. Nasayak Kumwa. Nasayak is princes. Of course, we know this why. The ma here is the pluralization. The wa here is there. And so now we have verse 11. Now let's go back to Judges and see who these people are as our time ticks away. We're still dealing with the Midianites, right? But now at this point, the Lord has raised up Gideon, who is a powerful warrior in this time. And the Lord told Gideon, we're going to go to Judges, the 7th chapter, and the first verse. Then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him rose up early and pitched beside the well of Harad, so that the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them by the hill of Moreh in the valley. And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, mine own hand hath saved me. So the Lord said, just think of how this sounds. The Lord said to Gideon, now y'all got too many people. I'm not going to let you go to war with all these people, because then you're going to think that it was through your own strength that you won. No. We had to be the underdog, because we had to know after everything went down, that it was the Most High that delivered us against all odds. So verse 3 says, now therefore go to, proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And people did it. Imagine they went in front of a group of soldiers and said, hey, whoever's afraid, y'all can go home. And guess what? And there returned of the people 20 and 2,000. So they got in front of the army and said, whoever's afraid, go home. And 22,000 people dipped. That's crazy. But that was done for a reason. So it says, and there remained 10,000. So now they went from 32,000 all the way down to 10,000. All they had was 10,000 men with no fear that was ready to go. And that's all you need. You don't need nobody that's scared in the first place. And so the Lord cleared them out. In verse 4, the Lord said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. So he said, y'all got 10,000, that's still too many people. Scripture says, bring them down into the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, this shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee. And of whomsoever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. So he brought down the people into the water, and the Lord said unto Gideon, every one that lappeth of the water with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink. And the number of them that lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water. And the Lord said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lapped will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hands. So think how crazy this is. He had 10,000 men. And the Most High set up this test to see who was really ready to go to war. And he set them down to the water, and the people that got all the way down on their knees and made themselves vulnerable, but they wasn't even thinking about it because they were just shoveling water into their face. The Lord said, nah, they're no good for the battle. Get rid of them. And all that was left was 300 men. When he started with what, 32,000? 300 men. And it came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, arise, get thee down into the host, for I have delivered it into thine hand. And so we skip down a few verses. And Gideon had a dream. Gideon did what he was supposed to do. And all the way down, they did. And this is an excellent story to read, but I'm skipping to get to the point because we got 8 minutes left. And the men of Israel gathered themselves, we're in verse 23 now, together out of Naphtali and out of Asher and out of all of Manasseh, and pursued after the Midianites. And Gideon sent messengers throughout all of Mount Ephraim, saying, come down against the Midianites, and take before them the waters unto Beth-barah and Jordan. Then all the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together, and took the waters unto Beth-barah and Jordan. In verse 25, and they took 2 princes of the Midianites, Oreb and Zeeb. So now we learn who these people are. And they slew Oreb upon the rock Oreb, and Zeeb they slew at the winepress of Zeeb, and pursued Midian, and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeeb to Gideon on the other side of Jordan. And so that's how Oreb and Zeeb went out. They got taken out, and their heads got brought on a silver platter to Gideon to say, we took care of this business. And so that's why we say in the prayer, Shaythamwa Nadiyabawa Ka'irab Waka Za'ah. Do unto them like as Oreb, like unto Zeeb, and like Zabah and Zalmunna. And now we're going to find out some more about who they are. So now in chapter 8, this is not enough. Because verse 4 in chapter 8, and Gideon came to Jordan and passed over, he and the 300 men that were with him, faint, yet pursuing them. So they're still chasing after what's left of the Midianites, right? But they're hungry, they're faint, they're weak, man, they're hungry. They haven't eaten in who knows how long, and they've been fighting. So verse 5, he said unto the men of Succoth, give, I pray you, loaves of bread unto the people that follow me, for they be faint, and I am pursuing after Zebah and Zalmunna, now in thine hand. Salakia. And I am pursuing after Zebah and Zalmunna, the kings of Midian. So we're still running down all of their nobles, their Nadiyamua, and their princes, their Nasiakumwa. We're getting everybody. And guess what they said back to Gideon? Verse 6, and the princes of Succoth said, are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give bread unto thine army? So they talking back to Gideon. They said, oh, you want bread? You must already have Zebah and Zalmunna. If you want bread, you're ready to eat, you're ready to take a break and eat, you must already have gotten Zebah and Zalmunna. So it wasn't, they knew that it wasn't done until everyone was knocked off, because that's how the Lord sets it up. When the Lord goes to wipe out a people, he wipes them out. And that's why we have this verse that says, Shayathumwa Nadiyamua, make their nobles, their Nadiyah, their nobles, Nadiyamua, Ka'irab, like Oreb, Wa Kaza'ab, and like Ze'eb, which we just saw what just happened to them. Their heads got brought on a silver platter and served up to Gideon. Wa Kazabah, Wa Katazalmanai, and like Wa Kazabah, and like Zabak, Wa Katazalmanai, and like Tazalmanai, Zalmunna. And we're going to see what happens to them. Call Nasayakumwa and all their princes. Nasayak is prince. Nasayakumwa is their princes. Call all of them. Call Nasayakumwa. And so we're going to see what happens to Zebah and to Zalmunna next week. We're going to be right back here. It's going to be time. It's going to be part 2, Psalms 83. We're breaking it down. We're learning what all these things mean, who all these people are, why we say these prayers, why we remember these historical events, why they remember these historical events when they wrote this prayer down in the book of Psalms, hundreds of years after it happened. We're going to find out why these things are so important and why we beg and plead with the Most High to repeat these things, to do these things again. We want to see their nobles and their princes' heads on a platter delivered to our leaders. We want to see these things happen again. And that's why we say this prayer every Sabbath, and we're going to keep saying it every Sabbath until Christ comes back. Shalom.